Suddenly, the future of the West Bank has become front and center in this election. In a series of interviews, Netanyahu said he would annex large settlement blocks like Gush Etzion, southeast of Jerusalem. It's clear pre-election message to the other right-wing parties and, more importantly, to right-wing voters. Here's what Netanyahu told our Michelle McCory and Barbara Zerer yesterday.
I said I would apply Israeli law, or annex, if you will, the Jewish communities, the Israeli communities in Judea Samaria. That's different. And I want to do it as far as I can with American support. And I've said time and time again that I would not remove a single Israeli settlement or a single Israeli forcibly. I'm against this whole notion of ethnic cleansing. I just don't believe in it.
And still with us in studio is Dr. Yossi Beilin, former Israeli justice minister and the architect of the Oslo Accords, and Michael Kleiner, president of the Likud Supreme Court, and a former member of the Israeli parliament for the Likud. And Michael, it has to be pointed out, you were a pioneer of advocating annexation. You fought for it. Suddenly, Prime Minister Netanyahu, in days before the election, comes around to that position. I mean, how sincere do you take him?
Disregarding the timing and the fact that, from his point of view, I am not sure that was the most prudent something to do at this timing. I am very happy about the decision, and when you get a horse for free, you don't check out his tooth. So even if the timing is a little awkward, I believe it's a very good decision, and it's a good follow-up to the Golan law. To the Golan decision of President Trump.
Yossi, you know this issue very well, certainly given your involvement in the Oslo Accords. When Netanyahu says, as he told us again last night, that he doesn't make a distinction between the isolated outposts and the larger settlement blocks, break down what that means practically.
You know, it's nonsense. Excuse me for saying it. The Prime Minister lied to you. He has no idea. He doesn't believe in the annexation. He's not going to do that. He said that he would consider it seriously and whatever.
You know, words have power.
Words have power, for sure. I'm not diminishing the importance of words, but what is the point? He understands, and he's not a stupid guy, that if he does something like this, if he annexes only the settlements, which is even physically quite crazy, and Michael did not speak about that. He spoke about the annexation of the West Bank, which is very different. This is an ideology, whatever, but not the spots here and there. But if he does it, then there is no Palestinian Authority. No Palestinian Authority will remain one day after such a deed, for sure. Now, for Netanyahu, what he really did since '96, he took the Oslo Agreement, which he hates, and made out of this, rather than a corridor to a permanent peace agreement, the living room. I mean, we are living in Oslo in an interim agreement for 26, 27 years. And this is the most convenient thing for Netanyahu, including the security coordination. So why in the world he would ruin it if he has occupation for free?
Well, let me just ask you, Michael, because Yossi's making a good point. Prime Minister Netanyahu, you could argue, has played this game before. Why should any voter who is going to vote for one of the even more right-wing parties, from the New Right, for example, suddenly transfer their vote to the Likud?
First of all, one of the reasons that I'm not happy with the timing is I am not sure that all this strategy to try to take votes from the right-wing party is useful, because I believe there's actually no importance which party is bigger. It's all baloney. It's lies people tend to believe because it's easy to play games. The only number who is the decisive is which bloc will be bigger. And if the right wing will have with Likud 61, there will be a Netanyahu government, even if Likud has 25 seats. And even if Likud has 35 and there will be only 59, there will be a GANTZ government supported by the non-Zionist parties. That's why I believe Netanyahu should have come out, called the people from the national camp to go and vote. Everyone, according to the party, he was intending to vote anyway, and not try to take votes from the small parties, because, if, as Yossi said before, if one falls, if one or two will not pass the threshold, then Likud can lose the election. It happened in 92, last sentence, it happened in 92 when Tchia wasn't passing the threshold, and the Rabin with Meretz and the non-Zionist parties had 61 seats.
So a reminder to our viewers, let's just pause for a second. The threshold is 4 seats to make it into parliament, and in this election, kind of surprisingly, some of the smallest parties that you would think have no significance are actually really kingmakers of this election because they can help either Netanyahu or Benny Gantz form a government. Yossi, I want to talk to you a little bigger picture, though, because the statements like Netanyahu is making, a last-minute election promise to annex parts of the West Bank, this is a right wing that has shifted. This is the Likud that has shifted. And Netanyahu, that a few years back said in his Bar Ilan speech, proudly supporting a two-state solution, the conversation has changed. How do you think that happened? Where do you think the center and left went wrong that this country moved so far to the right?
The country did not move so far to the right. This is not the case. Take into account that he never brought this idea to the Central Committee of the Likud, because he knew that there would be always a majority against this idea.
You don't think it's become more mainstream?
No.
Central Committee of the Likud just took a decision half a year ago unanimously to support annexation in Judea Samaria.
And Netanyahu did not bother to come to this meeting, as you may know.
So, he tried to prevent it, but
he tried to prevent
he couldn't.
So what is the case here? You have about 40% conservatives, 40% center-left or liberals. Our side of the map, the liberal side or the social democratic side of the map, cannot win, cannot get the 61 without the Arab vote. This is a fact of life. The other side, the more rightist side, cannot win without the ultra-religious vote. Both of them are non-Zionist or anti-Zionist. This is the truth. I mean, today, the two-state solution is the plural solution which is accepted by the Israeli public opinion, despite all these tendencies to the right or whatever. And when you see that there is a party like Blue and White, which I know is not a party in my view, something which which is something which was invented in the last moment.
Not democratic at all.
You know, they take votes, not most of the votes, but they take votes from the Likud. So I believe that we are divided, like many other societies in the West, from the United States to Britain and others. And it is far from being a shift to the right. It is not a shift to the left, but it is not a shift to the left.